Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mishra if you're new here, and on my channel we do all things budgeting, personal finance, and we take you through our debt journey, the good and the inevitable bad. So today we're just gonna do kind of our February reset. So we'll do a little recap of what happened in January, and then we'll kind of look to see what we have going on for the month of February. If you haven't already, or if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. We would love to have you join the family. Okay, so first we'll start with our January goals. So um, January was super basic, not too much going on. I had already made a whole bunch of goals for the year of 2023. So January, just thought I'd keep it kind of simple. So my first goal was to read one book and one fiction book, because normally I will do some like self-development and that type of stuff, but like I don't really feel like I have time to read. And I think most of this is probably due to just scrolling on social media. So I decided to put that to the test. So I ended up actually reading 2 books. So, and the crazy thing about it was it only took me like 2 days to read each book. So clearly I have time in my day somewhere there, right? So anyways, that was good though. And then so my second goal was to contribute to my RESP. So that is the Registered Education Savings Plan for my kids for when they go to school later on. And so I'm only starting with $75, which is basically $25 per child for now. But I was able to do that. So that was good. And I want to keep that up. And then maintain healthy habits. So I just wanted to make sure that I was continuing to take my vitamins, because before I was not taking vitamins at all. You know, I wanted to make sure I was getting proper sleep, like that type of stuff, going to bed on time so I wasn't so like drained and tired. And so I did a pretty good job of doing that, but there was a few days when I know that I didn't take my vitamins, and it's something so like dumb. Like I might have just like not had water around when I had my vitamins, so I just like ended up not taking them for the day. But so overall I still did really good with that. I think especially when it came to you know, going to bed early and just making sure that I had rest. The next goal, I did not do this, so my goal was put an additional $151 towards debt. And so that number, I know it seems kind of like off, but it was kind of like what I had to do in order to reach my goal of paying off $15,000 of debt, my 2023 goal. Didn't do that, but you'll kind of see why that didn't happen when we just kind of do a little recap of our January budget. So overall, I'm happy with how January went. I still wanted to kind of, you know, start the year slow, not overachieving or doing too much. So I'm happy with that. So now let's do a little bit of our January budget recap. So in January, there wasn't too much going on. There wasn't too much difference. I'm just going to say some things that were a little bit notable. So for our income, we had budgeted $7,735, and our actual income ended up being $7,905. So that's an increase of about $170. So that was pretty good. But I didn't bring in any side income from financial services. And so if you remember, in the month of December, that number was around like $2,200 or $2,500 that I brought in. So we didn't bring that in. And so that is one of the reasons why I did not put the additional money on my debt, because our income was basically just kind of like bare bones income. And if you're new here, in the off season, normally like the winter months, my husband's hours are reduced at work, so our income is not as high. So yeah, so that's kind of on the income side. On our expenses side, everything was basically as per usual when it comes to our bills. We did have one bill, our electricity bill. I had budgeted $160, but it ended up being $214. And so I'm not exactly sure why it went up, but fun fact, I just recently realized that my daughter has actually been sleeping with her window wide open, and she also turned up our thermostat in her room. So I don't know if that's, you know, that, you know how kids are, right? So anyway, so that kind of happened. So there was that. And then just our internet, it's normally $108 and it went up to $113. So nothing there, nothing too special there. For variable expenses, so we still have a couple of days left in the month, and right now for our gas we budgeted $400, but we used around $260. So I'm thinking that will probably come around the $320, $310 around there. So that's pretty good. Groceries, we actually were low on our groceries. So we budgeted $600, but we probably used around $400. But our dining out, we budgeted $100, but we used closer to like $250. So those two categories combined kind of encompassed what our food budget was for the month. Other than that, everything else was pretty standard. I think I'm going to update you guys on our investments for January when I do my debt confession video. So that should be out next week. I figure, you know, paying down debt, also increasing our savings simultaneously, I'll just put them in the same video. So yeah, so that is basically that for January. Now for our February goals. So February is a bit of a shorter month. We don't really have too much going on in February, but I've broken down my goals into personal, social media, and financial. So now I'm getting a little bit more specific in the goals that we're setting for February. So first, I'm going back to reading. So I really enjoyed reading the books that I read and just kind of like not having to think about work for a period of time. So I think that I want to kind of continue that trend. So my goal is to read 2 books. So I read 2 last month. I'm going to try and read 2 again. I think I have to get a library card, because the thing is, like, the first book I got from my sister. The second book I read, I ordered off Amazon and it was $10, but it took me 2 days to read, and then now I'm not really doing anything with the book. So I don't want to like spend my money on books, especially if I'm not like an avid reader necessarily. Books is not where I want to spend my money. So I'm going to try and get a library card, and then that way, and my sister has some other books that I would probably borrow, but that way I don't have to spend money on books. And so number 2, again, maintain my healthy habits. So that's going to bed on time, also taking my vitamins. And then the other kind of big one is making sure that I eat a healthy breakfast in the morning, or just breakfast period. Because sometimes when I'm just like hurrying around with the kids, getting all their stuff together, like I just kind of forget that I haven't eaten. So I want to make sure that I do that. And especially now that I'm back in my office and I'm not just home, like I can't just like eat a little bit later in the day. I actually have to bring my food with me or eat breakfast before I go. This third one, it's kind of random, but get my blood work done. So I went to the doctor's in October and I got a requisition to get blood work done, and it's January, the end of January, and I still haven't done it. So it's just one of those things where it's like I just have to put on the calendar to do, probably on a Friday when my kids are at school and I don't have work, and just kind of like go and get it done. So yeah, it's kind of a random one, but I put on my goals because I really need to get that done. Okay, now moving on to social media. So one of my goals this year is to grow my channel to 1,000 subscribers. And so even though I can't really make people subscribe to my channel, but what I can do is be more consistent and come up with new ideas. So for my social media, I want to continue posting at least 1 time per week. I think that is attainable for me. And then I want to also brainstorm new video ideas. So obviously I do my monthly reset and, you know, these budget videos and my debt confession videos, but I would like to kind of like add some additional personal finance content. And so yeah, brainstorm new video ideas. And then my third goal for social media is I want to post 4 YouTube shorts for the month. And I know that's not a lot, but having to do just like even the slightest extra bit is actually kind of a lot. So that's what my goal is for the month of February in social media. Next, down to my financial goals. So number one, I want to continue to contribute to my kids' RESP. And another reason why I chose $75 is because in January, I got a little bit of a salary raise. So I just kind of took that amount, and that's why I'm putting it into my kids' RESPs. So I just decided to take that extra amount and just do that. And then, so my second goal is to try and make at least $300 in additional side income. And when I say additional side income, when you see my budget, you'll notice that I have two types. So one is bookkeeping and one is financial services. So the bookkeeping is pretty steady. It's around $1,000 per month, and that's pretty much guaranteed. So I'm not talking about that when I say additional income. I'm talking about financial services. And so part of that is, you know, starting to kind of grow that side of my business. And that's one thing that I'm trying to work on, because I mean, if you know me, and maybe even people that know me don't really realize that I'm kind of like an introvert. So reaching out to people isn't like natural for me. And, you know, obviously if you're trying to build your business and sell your services or products or anything like that, you actually have to talk to people. So that's kind of the mental block that I am having right now. And so I want to try and work on my mindset and overcoming that in the month of February. And then hopefully that will bring me some additional side income. And part of that is so that I can put additional money on debt. And so that also is one of my goals, put additional, that $151 on debt if I can. And then my last financial goal is to spend less on eating out and cook more at home. So because things are so busy and hectic sometimes, you know, we might forget to take meat out the fridge, or we just haven't kind of like planned our meals for the week. And I don't mean like prepping everything, but just even like, okay, Monday we have this, or Tuesday we have this, or these are the meals that are available for the week. If you have any meal planning tips or anything, leave them in the comments below, because I will gladly welcome any assistance in that area. So, and that will also help our eating out budget, because on top of eating out, a lot of times we don't just like go to the fast food restaurant and get food. Like we'll order on like DoorDash or Uber Eats, and obviously there's a lot of extra fees associated when you do that. So we're not even just spending like the regular amount on food, like it's costing us additional money. Those are basically my financial goals for the month of February. I don't know, not too hard, but they're just things that I want to like be consistent in, and just kind of like work on as we kind of go through the first quarter of 2023. Now for February. So our income, really nothing too different on this end of things. For our 9-to-5 income, I budgeted $5,980, and that's similar to what we budgeted last month. Our Canada Child Benefit, which is the benefit we get from the government every month, that changes in July based on your income. So I'm thinking that in this July, it actually may increase a little bit, but that's $346. And then so for the bookkeeping side of things, so I'm thinking that I'm going to make around $1,300 this month. And then for financial services, I put 0. So even though I would like to make an additional $300 as per my goals, because that is not guaranteed, I don't want to include it in the budget. So that's a total of $7,626 for our income. The first bill is our electricity, or I think this is our water. Anyways, I'm budgeting $60 as per usual. And then our electricity, even though it did go up to $214 last month, I'm still just going to budget $160, because hopefully that won't happen again. Our rent, so our rent is $2,422 and plus parking. But I just got a notice in the mail that in May, our rent is going to increase. So it's going to increase by $62.44. But that's not until May. So I don't have to worry about that right now. But that is something that will be changing at that time. And then our Bell, which is our internet, is $108. And our insurance for our family is $300. And then American Express. So this amount is not paying down the credit card, but this amount is our subscriptions. So I have QuickBooks. I have a bunch of business subscriptions that come through on my American Express. And so that's what the majority of that is. Other than that, it's like Spotify and Netflix. But eventually, normally I wouldn't necessarily put them there, but eventually I want to get to a point where, our income is enough that I don't have to include some of my side income in my budget, and then I wouldn't include the business expenses in my budget either. Eventually we'll get to that point. So next is our car insurance. And so this is $220, but it's actually not just car insurance. There's also renter's insurance and some life insurance in there. But we're budgeting $220. And so TELUS, $275. So that is for 2 cell phones and a watch. 2 cell phones and a watch. So for my credit card, I am going to pay $175. This does not include the additional amount that I would like to pay because our income is probably just going to be kind of like bare bones base income. I didn't add it there, but if we do get extra income, that's where the money will go. Our American Express, the minimum payment on my American Express is like, I know, like $16 or $18, but I just put $20. And then if you've seen our previous video about our debt, we have 2 consolidation loans. So one is $473 a month and the other is $740 a month. And now for our variable expenses. So these are generally the same also. So groceries, we budget $600. Dining out, we budget $100, even though sometimes we don't spend as much on groceries and we end up dining out. Ideally, I do want to be making more at home, so this is how we're doing it. For fuel, we're budgeting $400. We've been pretty good in this category, and part of the reason is we only have 1 car now. So we normally have 2, but our car was in an accident, and so we haven't gotten another car yet. So we haven't gotten another car yet, so that's why our insurance is lower. If you've watched like some of my previous videos, you'd see that our insurance was closer to $600, and our fuel, we used to budget $800 a month because my husband used to drive for work. So we've been pretty good with our fuel, so $400. And then so for our pets, we always budget $400. So we have 2 dogs, and we have a lizard, and we have a whole aquarium, a whole huge aquarium of fish. So that basically goes to just feeding all of our animals and any like chemicals or anything that have to go into the fish tank. That encompasses all of that for the month. And we generally use that whole amount every single month. And so I always just have a little miscellaneous buffer for things here and there. And that this month is $150. The only other amount is like our retirement savings for work, and that's $186 now. And the RESP, we're contributing $75. So that's basically it. It's a pretty tight budget for the month of February, unless we of course get additional income. But you can see that our total remaining is $6.90. So I can easily add that $6.90 to the miscellaneous category, and then it would be a zero-based budget. So that is February. Again, nothing too special going on. I know there's Valentine's Day, so maybe, we might go out to eat, or maybe even just do something at home, truthfully. I'm not too big on celebrating things that much. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. In my next video, it will probably be my debt update. So you'll get to kind of see where we're at with that as of January 31st. So bye guys. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.